and I'm like, ah. Hey all, it's Nim or Nimacree if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today we're going to be going over the World of Warcraft expansion reveal. We're going to just be going over the Dragonflight stuff in this video. There'll be another video for Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Now, if you like what I do, or you like the channel in specific, go on and hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with everything the channel does. In addition, I want to thank my patrons for supporting the channel, and everyone who watches the videos. We're almost at 1,800 subs, which, hey, feels good. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the World of Warcraft Dragonflight expansion reveal. I really like how they spliced in-game and cutscene footage. Or, well, not in-game, but like in-game cutscene and rendered cutscene footage. Oh, okay. Hey, there's a kid. Murlocs. All right, I'm digging this. Hey, there's Murad. I like Murad. Murad's dope. That was good. That was good. Look. I a lot of people might be like, oh, Nim, that's just shameless fan pandering. Yeah, a little bit. But it ended with Varian being like, for Azeroth. And then he goes through his thing with Legion, and you know what? Rip Varian will be missed. You were my king. I played Alliance most of the time playing in WoW, and Varian was a really cool character. I liked, especially after Anduin started to become older. I thought Varian was really cool. But that was cool. And look at how happy people... This game can make people happy. Devs and the designers and you know, maybe executives and things have to pander to them. Those people there were huge crowds and cosplayers and everybody having fun. There's a lot of life left in this game, provided that people don't kill it. So there we go. We'll finish the intro. We're not gonna do the event welcome, because we'll do the Dragonflight Cinematic. So let's move on to the Dragonflight Cinematic, because that's what we're here for. We're here for the new expansion stuff. But that was a pretty good hype trailer. I'm gonna rate that like 9.5 out of 10. Could it have been better? Probably, but if you ask me, I don't know how. So I'm gonna say 9.5 out of 10, just because I've had a rough weekend and maybe I'm a little curmudgeon. But let's take a look at the Dragonflight Cinematic now. We'll finish that with the event welcome. There it is. All right, perfect. And you guys recognize this from the cinematic, so let's see what happens. $10,000 years ago.
The world has been sundered. It cries out in pain. We must go to its aid.
Oh my god, is that a Titan Keeper?
Our ancestral home to you, the Watchers.
Yeah! Oh, it's like the Discs of Norganon! Looks like Thousand Needles.
Let the land slumber, hidden even from our own eyes. You will feel our return in the waking of the land. Then you must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us forever.
Okay, so there seems like, you know, Sundering caused a cataclysm. Stone Boy. Aw. Or Moss Guy. Like you, Moss Guy. Hey, he's awake! Oh. Hey! Any more watchers? Oh, please don't be the only... Oh, no. I mean, I don't even know who these people are, but I'm invested in that. I'm invested in that guy. That guy's friend's dead. I don't know, maybe they were enemies, but he looked sad, and the music was sad, and half his face was gone, and he's not waking up, and now he's been asleep for probably an indeterminate amount of time. He doesn't know how long it is. He's been mossified. Look at him. Probably needs a good clean. I shaved before the video because I like to be presentable, but hey, listen, right on the shore, just woke up. We'll cut people slack. Oh, that's cool. Things are blooming. Lava? The Dragonflight. Hopefully he's not the only one. Jesus, is he the only one who's alive? That's a sad story. Does no one have, like, stoneworking skills? Oh, it looks like, that looks like the thing from the Forge of Souls. But a little, a little more Titany, a little less Lich King-y. Oh, man. Is that... That's obviously his king. His king is dead. Sorry, king. And it doesn't have enough power. I still wonder what the greatest, like, what's the greater evil, or what's the reason? Yes, climb, Stone Man, climb. Yes. I really wish they could do like a television series in this quality. Oh, I'd love it. Yes. Yes, do it, Stone Man! For reasons and things I don't fully understand. Or even start to understand. Do it, Stone Man! Gosh. Like, really? Don't die. Don't die, Stone Man. We can put you back together. We did it in Legion! Oh! Okay! Alex Straza is just like the mother of all red dragons is just like, surprise, I'm gonna save you. Which is cool. Don't get me wrong. What is that? Chromie? I don't think it's Chromie. Caligos. Malagos is dead. I don't know who takes over the green Dragonflight now that Ysera... Because Ysera is...
The world is healing.
Wait, are we gonna undo the Sundering?
Yet uncertain.
Also, these visual effects are 10 out of 10. The art team in Blizzard never fails.
Together, we shall be Azeroth's protectors once again.
Oh, that's right, because they gave up their powers to fight Deathwing.
Age of Dragons shall begin.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm digging that. I am digging that. Yeah. Okay. So hype, music swells, everybody's saved. Thing, instead of, having one last, like, oh, I'm gonna die and someone will have to carry on my legacy, Stone Man is alive, which is great. So hopefully he's gonna be a quest giver. And listen, in Legion, we did put together a Watcher. We did it in Stormheim. We could do it again. We could probably talk to some dwarves who are really good at stonework, maybe some goblins to help with explosives to get quarry stuff, and, do some patchwork on the Watcher. Because they're made of stone, right? I mean, yeah, they're living stone, but like when they're asleep, it's just stone, probably. So why not? Like, let's figure some things out. Also, Alex Straza has the ability to help with life. If we remember back in Wrath of the Lich King, tried to use the raw power of life to burn out undead corruption from a soldier. Didn't work. We had to go to a doll, and exactly the quest line ended. But I mean, Alex Straza was like, I'm surprised I can't do it. So that was before she gave up her aspect power. So if we are going to have the return of the dragon aspects, this is going to be pretty cool. I wonder if Wrathion will be like leader of the Black Dragonflight and rebuild it, because we all know, obviously, Deathwing, Netherian being, formerly of being corrupted by the old gods. But what happens here now? Like, imagine that, right? That was cool. I like 10 out of 10 cinematic. I felt it. I went along for the journey. But I'm a big fan of World of Warcraft. I mean, I'm wearing a World of Warcraft t-shirt right now. I've played WoW for a long time. Those who know it, those who know me, know that is. So yeah, that's gonna be good. I definitely feel a little bit of hype. I try not to feel hype because I have been burned by previous expansions or previous hype things. But I'm digging that. That looks good. And this will be an expansion released after all of the troubles that Blizzard has gone through with their internal stuff like HR or the fact there's lawsuits going on. So I'm interested to see how everybody pulls this off. And I'm not going to count them out yet because, again, the first intro to the stream trailer was amazing, and that was amazing too. I gotta give it a 10. Give it a 10. This music swelled. I felt it. I felt like when Stone Guy died, I thought like he's really gonna die, and then, Alex Straza. So yeah. So again, that's comments below. Tell me what you think. Maybe I'm too optimistic. Let's continue on though, because we want to look at the Dragonflight overview. Because we'll look at the overview, we'll look at the talents and UIs and things like that, and then we'll go from there. All right.
Dragons.
Yeah, no, dragon.
So cool. No one saw it coming.
There's not seeing.
Carefully kept secret. But seriously.
Although there's Lordaeron crest in the background.
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons, the dawn of a new age. Right, we've seen Wrathion searching.
So I'm gonna pause this. So when they talk about the return of dragons, we have to remember that way back in Classic, Onyxia was one of the first villains. I think Lady Preston. But dragons used to be a huge part of the story because, you're adventurers and yeah, you might be strong and geared and talented, but that's a dragon over there. And that thing lives longer than you, has lived longer than your family line, is extremely powerful. And so for the heroes of Azeroth, as we were, to come in and be like, okay, we laid down a lot of dragons. A couple of times in some cases. That's a big deal. I mean, we're almost analogous to some level of we're legendary heroes. And so dragons, after a while, because of bigger cosmic threats such as the Burning Legion, maybe the Scourge in some cases, not necessarily Scourge isn't cosmic, but Scourge was an Azerothian level threat. Then of course you had the Shadowlands where you went into the afterlife. Dragons have kind of taken a backseat because, listen, while that's an incredible creature and powerful, manipulative, versus, that is a god who helped create the world over there, and now is corrupted due to nihilism and needs to be put down. Or, that is the literal incarnation of death right over there. And we need to stop it because he's going to hollow out our world and eat its soul. So it's nice to go back to Azeroth, because while we've been protecting Azeroth from threats outside, we do need to protect threats within the confines of Azeroth, because it does no good to save the world from, the jailer's been beaten. Oh yeah, I guess, evil thing over here that has been sleeping for 10 or 100,000 years now decides to be like, Azeroth time. Nom 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 nom. Let's continue. Wrathion. There we go.
There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them until now.
Rathion's got drip.
Going off. Is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world.
Okay.
Also beckoning the dragons back urgently.
Oh my god, look, I just need to draw this. Like, how cool is... So there's the Crest of Lordaeron. Got Frostmourne. Looks like Illidan Stormrage. And a Summoning Stone. A Summoning Stone is in the background. Look, out of all that stuff there, I like both of those the best. The Summoning Stone and the Crest of Lordaeron shield. I don't know if you can get those. I definitely want a Summoning Stone, though, for my desk. Or, like, if I can hook it up with, like, an LED light, that would be cool. I gotta look for that. I'm sure somebody makes that online.
In a time of need.
I assume pretty good variety of locales within the Dragon Isles.
Yes. The Dragon Isles, as for WoW expansion, consist of 5 zones.
Okay.
4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone that we'll get to in a second.
Ooh, new starter zone. Okay, so if we remember, the new starter, there's a couple of new starter experiences. Now, there you have, of course, your traditional starting where, hey, you start off in for me, it was Northshire. But you can also start off in Exile's Reach, which you start off on a ship, and I recommend doing it at least once, if only for the achievement points, if you're tracking for achievements. But a new starter zone is quite nice. And then, of course, 4 new areas. That's pretty good. I'm not mad about only having 4 areas. I will say I did like Legion's approach to a certain thing, which was you had your 4 areas, and then your final area was basically level cap, story-based, really nice. The only thing I didn't like about Suramar was that in order to get Court of Stars and Arcway, they were rep gated. That I don't think they'll do that, because obviously there's 4 areas here now instead of 5. But I do like the idea of a central kind of overarching, hey, this is where story happens. And you can, pay attention and do all that stuff.
Can you talk a little bit about how the team found ways to thread the dragon aspects throughout the environments?
The Dragon Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with elemental.
I love that.
As
That looks great.
Herself reawakens, those primal forces are expressed throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the icy waste.
It reminds me of Winterspring, obviously, but it looks fantastic. The other cool thing is, from a lore perspective, remember, Azeroth has been stabbed with a giant sword from Sargeras. And then we had to deal with the Azerite power, and we collected that, and then we went off to the Shadowlands, and what's Azeroth been doing this whole time? Because Azeroth is some titanic being. Well, Azeroth is healing and awakening, so perhaps we're seeing more things happen. It would be nice to see a more vibrant, almost closer to the Emerald Dream style area. Because, again, like we know in Val'sharah, that's as close as you can get to the Emerald Dream in the mortal world. The Emerald Dream, for those who don't know, is what the Druids, it's this place where the Druids enter in sleep, and it's Azeroth unspoiled by any man-made objects or constructions. So it's a fully natural world. And while not every character class would like that, Druids, of course, are like, yay, Druids. The Shamans are probably like, yeah, it's not bad. Shamans. But I like seeing more vibrant Azeroth, because when you see a world full of life, it being removed, such as in Icecrown, that contrast hits all the harder.
Of the Azure span, and each one of them has a connection to a
Hey!
Dragonflight that we've seen.
It was like Grizzly Hills a little bit.
And it's going to be an amazing place for players to arrive at and explore.
All right, I'm going to ask.
Yes, okay,
Can,
so
can I be a dragon?
let's start getting into some features here and what Dragonflight means for you, as well as just a place. So first off, yes, we have an all-new playable race, the Drakthir race.
Yeah.
Yay!
This is a
Hey, new race, always nice. I always like seeing new classes, new race, new things like that. I think they'll get into a new class later. But, yeah, have more fun with that. If people want to be a dragon, let them be a dragon. And Dragonflight, Dragon Isles, Dragon Playable Race, that's win, win, win. Good. No notes. I'm curious to see how their actual, what their racial abilities will be, and if there are any class race restrictions, which I'm sure there probably will be. Which I'm not the biggest fan of class race restrictions, just because of the fact that, why? But, again, I'm not a dev, and I'm not trying to be overly critical. That's outside the scope of this video. We can do a video on are class race restrictions outdated. In general, I think yes, roll credits, but I can pontificate for longer than that.
Draken, a draconic race, but dragons in Warcraft have the ability to take on a humanoid form.
Yeah.
What classes can they be?
They have unique abilities as literally a dragon. That doesn't quite fit any of our existing classes. And
Ooh.
so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a new class.
Hey, there it is.
Adding a new race to World of Warcraft, and not just an ally.
That's like dragon themed strafing I-beam. Please? That's cool. That's cool. I don't play a demon hunter. If you play a demon hunter, down below in the comments, let me know, can you move while using I-beam, or is it a channel and if you step away from it, it breaks? Like, that was cool. You can move while channeling an attack? Yes. I mean, it makes sense. You're a dragon. Big, you're magical, you're powerful. Or I guess technically you're Drakthir, but like, you're draconic. Big magic, lots of damage.
Allied race is something that we don't do lightly, but telling this expansion, this story, so focused around dragons, felt like the perfect time for it. So if you are a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class.
Ooh.
Drakthir can only be Evokers can only be Drakthir.
Okay, so that answers class race restrictions. So if you want to be an evoker, the evoker is Drakthir. Drakthir are evoker. Okay, fine. I'm curious. Maybe they'll go into what specs they have. It would be nice to see a triple spec. You know, your heals, tank, and DPS. But maybe there won't be. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Just that way, you're not limited by picking. You're not limited to a single role by picking one class because you want to play as a Drakthir. And I don't mean picking, being technically forced. But we'll see what happens.
And the reason why only a Drakthir could be an evoker is that an evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has. The ability to actually take flight and do an Onyxia-style strafing.
Oh, that's so cool! That's cool! Deep breath. Someone, more dots! More dots!
Over the battlefield, land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet.
Yes?
Unleash your magical abilities.
Yes, please.
The evoker has 2 specializations. They're a hybrid of either ranged DPS or healer.
Okay, so that answers that question. I really would have liked to have seen a tank one, like with the Black Dragonflight type stuff back, because you remember, back in Mists of Pandaria, you could get a cloak for a tank specialization, and you had to, prevent Rathion from being afraid of his father and kind of overcoming the fear of that. So it would have been nice, but hey, you know what? Fine. Nothing is going to be like, oh, okay, we listened to Nim specifically and we added XYZ. No, it's fine. Having a healing specialization prevents them from being DPS locked, because a lot of people who do pugs, especially flavor of the month classes or new classes or rerolls, if it's just DPS, they're gonna be like, oh, there's another evoker. Oh, there's another evoker. Oh, there's another evoker. So the fact that they're healing too allows for more flexibility of play, and more players can get into groups.
And they wear male armor.
Male armor.
With the new hero classes,
Hunter Shaman.
Over the years, we have enough melee. We don't need more of those, and also probably don't need any more leather wearers.
The raid leader.
I really like how they made them wear male, because hunters and shamans were like, okay, there it is. So having more male will be nice, and that way, if you are a hunter or a shaman, odds are you're gonna have somebody else to trade drops with. Now, I know some groups go with a lot of hunters, and some groups go with a lot of shamans, and that's fine. But I know in my particular, some of the groups I've been in, like we've had one hunter, one shaman, and sometimes not a hunter or a shaman, depending on what era of the game we're playing in and who I'm playing with. So again, more male classes, balanced armor sets, stack, gonna be wonderful. We don't sadly have a male tank class that I'm aware of, so it's a shame. I wish they Dragonflight tanky. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll add a tank spec. That would be really cool. Okay.
Are gonna love you for that.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero class, and so that means that like the Death Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58.
Okay.
They're gonna have a new starter zone, so they're gonna have a slightly different journey into the Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
Can you talk a little bit about the customizations? Like, what is going to be able to identify my Drakthir character?
Basically anything and everything. Skin color, hair color.
Ooh, I like how they show off the dragon form and the human form. Yes. I am for this. I like this. While I don't really believe in, I don't do a lot of character customizations. I'll hit random twice, and then I'm usually wearing a full plate helm because paladin. I like having more options, because there are people who want to express themselves in a certain way, or may want to rock a certain transmog. My current transmog, I look like an Ouroboros guard. You can't see anything of me. I've got one blue eye and a gray sword, and all drab, and I like that. I like that. Paladin's already a light show, and my personality is sparkling enough. But having more of this, more of this customization options, and I like that they show both there, because again, like the Worgens, be a human or your wolf form. So yeah, big fan of this. Big fan.
Tattoos, other adornments. You can make this character the expression of your identity in Azeroth.
Nice.
New zone, new class,
Yep.
new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates or features.
So, of course, the new expansion brings with it, new systems, new features. I think in recent expansion.
So before he says anything, let's talk about, right? So let's think back to Shadowlands. Shadowlands, we had the Conduit energy system. We had the Covenant system, tied into Anima. We still had Mythic Plus. We still had rating. With Zergus Mortis, after 12 weeks, we had the Creation Catalyst. We had our Shards of Domination. And now we have Tier again, which I like Tier. Not a fan of Tier. So, and I'm sure there's something I'm missing. That's 7. We're being, a little literal. Conduit Energy was railed against, and was eventually removed. Player-friendly move, which is good. You should not have things that limit players the ability to switch to do content. Now, I understand to some degree, okay, there's an argument to be made that while doing the content, while currently in the content, not being able to switch, I could think of an argument with that in terms of being able to change your soulbind ability. Okay, I could potentially listen. I still think you should be able to swap gear sets on the fly like you could back in Legion, but again, whatever. Maybe that ship has sailed, so I'm not gonna fight with it. But all of those systems, that's a lot to do. It's a lot to balance. It's a lot to make sure that players can interact, and you don't want to create, as they say, degenerative gameplay where people every pull they're like, oh, I got to change all this stuff and do all this, and it leads to slows down the entire experience and creates an unhealthy expectation of player behavior. So I'm curious to see what they have about systems. I would like to see essentially systems launch at 0.25 or 0.3 version. So what I mean by that is 7.3.5 Legion had Waking Essences. You could just buy your legendary power. You could farm them if you wanted to, but everything you did gave you Awakening Essence. And then you could just be like, I need this legendary power on an alt because I want to roll a different character. This is the one I need. This is the best in slot. This is my most throughput utility. It costs X number of Waking Essence. Bam, it's mine. Now I can have the item. And or in BFA, the essence is for the necklace. Once they were account bound. Yeah, or account wide. Great, fantastic. That's what we want. We want that. Or like Vision of Perfection. As a paladin, I need to go get the Vision of Perfection. I could get it. Fantastic. And it worked. So I want to see less. I want things to launch in a complete state and then be built on from there. As opposed to, well, it'll get better in 9.1. Oh, we hear your concerns. This wasn't really what we intended. And in order to do that, there are going to be people like me and other people who are much larger and much smaller who will be like, there is a flaw in this system. Now, I haven't seen their systems. I'm not slagging off their system here. I just know from previous expansion and previous times playing that there have been some holes and some things that weren't quite completely finished before when expansion launched. So let's listen to Ian.
One of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific expansion that would then get left behind as we moved on.
Yeah.
And we've heard loud and clear from players that, it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind.
It's not so much leaving a large part of your character, it's a large part of the character's power. So, for example, Legion, right? I keep going back to Legion because I think Legion was a great expansion to use the borrowed power system. So 7.3.5, right? I'm Ret Paladin, got Ashbringer. I'm hurting people's feelings in PvE stuff. It's great, and I'm sure there are people who did even more, but it felt good. Play, I was fast, I had all my abilities, fantastic. I then go into BFA, and everything's fine. I'm losing a little bit of power, I'm fine. But at 116, my Legion legendary effects stop. So that means no more double talent, no more cloak. So now I am at the lowest point on the power curve that I can possibly be. Because the things that made my class feel fun and exciting are now gone. Now eventually at 120, I get better gear, I get a little bit of Azurite armor, and it's not terrible. And then eventually I get the Heart of Azeroth gets stronger. And then, I get some essences, and I get some other things. And then Corruption. Corruption was fun to play with. I understand why that might only be an expansion, a patch feature, because obviously it's focused around N'Zoth. But Corruption was a lot of fun. There's times where it's like, oh, do you want to be a hasty paladin? Yes, I do. Twilight Devastation's going on. Or Echoing Void pre and post nerf still was kind of fun. So I understand in some reasons why they're patch-specific features, but it's the impact on the player. For example, Vision of Perfection was great. Every attack, every attack has a 35% chance to trigger Avenging Wrath for 8 seconds. Yeah, it's a big deal. That really boosts the floor because now I'm not using a pool noodle for 2 minutes and then 30 seconds of sword. Talking about my personal experience there, feels like it sometimes. So yeah, I wanted to get that out there. It's not that players are upset that systems are gone in most cases, is that your character, which you got used to playing, which was fun to playing, which was powerful, which would perform at a certain level, is now, because of calendar date, not able to play at certain level.
By leaving a large part of your progression behind. So this time around,
Ducks, like that's funny.
Pouring all of our energy into permanent revamps, overhauls, and improvements to World of Warcraft's core systems. Things like our progression systems, in this case, our talent system, is something that we want to completely revamp. We want to take a look at our UI. We want to take a look at professions.
So with the talent revamp,
I mean, I'll be honest, professions absolutely need to be looked at. Professions, they've been a dead thing. I did a video a while ago on, our professions are a dead end, how you could revamp them. And I had an idea of using them in combination to where, so for example, you have a chef, you have a cook, make a feast. You have an enchanter, enchant the feast, and you have an alchemist, infuse the feast with more magical energy. And depending on how many people work on said profession item, you then, or profession result, you end up with a greater proportional buff. And then that way, and you spread it out in such a way that not one character can't do everything. And I look, for example, at the Court of Stars being probably the greatest example of using professions outside of they just being represented on a character. Because no one knows that I am a master alchemist in Azeroth outside of myself. And I guess if I go to the Court of Stars, I have enough alchemy to where I could poison the boss and maybe click on something else. So I like that idea. Let's revamp profession.
and the arrival of Classic, did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and work through those talent trees really underscored some of the things that, frankly, we lost when we shifted to the Mists of Pandaria style talents and beyond. A big piece of that was just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character.
So they talk about I've played pre Mists of Pandaria talents, Mists of Pandaria talents and on, and now I'm gonna play Dragonflight and go back. And one thing I wanna mention for the Mists of Pandaria talent, right? People say, before, you could build a character any number of ways. There were still cookie cutter builds that people did because they were the most effective, as you will do in a game like this. But I have to ask, how exciting is adding 1% crit? I remember back in vanilla playing, there's a warlock. I believe you needed 5 points in corruption to make corruption an instant cast. Now, you're telling me that you spent approximately, five times you leveled up. You added a point to corruption to decrease the cast time, ultimately leading to it being instant cast. Is that interesting gameplay? Well, I would say no. Having talent point every 15 level means that while you get far fewer talent, you also, every one is much more impactful, or nimpactful, if you'll enjoy the pun. So the question that'll come to mind is, how the abilities that we have now, for example, let's take Divine Purpose, right? Big fan of Divine Purpose. I think it should be baseline. Not baseline, it should be baseline. But Divine Purpose, every time I use a spender, I have a percentage chance to have another spender, the next spender free, and it does increase damage. Great, fantastic. Where is that going to be? The reason, obviously, they'll math that out later. But if you have more talent points, each individual talent point can't be as impactful as the Mists of Pandaria thing. So I think that while it's cool to get back and it's nostalgia, ultimately there's going to be levels and break points where it's like, okay, I'm level 60, let's respec. Okay, I need 5 in here, click, 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 and then I go down to here, click, 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 click. Okay, there's the thing I want. I got it. I got the thing I want. And everything below then, you're like, well, but do you care about your 5% crit that you got? I mean, it's crit, whatever, fine. I wish it was haste, or I wish it was mastery, or I wish it was verse, or I wish it was anything else. But crit's fine. I don't care. It got me to where I need to go. So That's the thing I want to mention. The old talent trees are nice. The granularity you mentioned is kind of cool that you can initially build towards that anticipation of, oh, 2 more levels and I actually get to do the big sword slam swingy thing.
Make yourself a bit better in some specific way, but also, that sense of hybridity that you could have, that's something that we've largely lost. And so the new talent system avoids directly pitting player power throughput choices directly against those sort of
Okay, so, and I think he was going to say utility. Now, I wanted to pause this. These talent trees look pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like them. I think they're cool. If they've got roadouts, set all talents. If you can reset them on the fly, and that's cool. I'm a fan. I like that you have this. Reminds me a lot more of the artifact weapon than the old talent trees. The artifact weapons were laid out across your artifact talent points were laid out across your artifact weapon as opposed to being in a straight, three straight trees. So I think that's a cool thing. I noticed they have points and numbers and levels. Now again, this says this is work in progress, so we're not going to hold them to like this is the final form. Everything's got to be this. But yeah, it's not bad. And when he says talk about throughput versus utility, right? Throughput will win. Throughput will always win. I cannot think of a specific fight where utility in World of Warcraft beats skilled play and throughput. Utility is nice. Utility makes things easier. So, for example, in Tomb of Sargeras, there was numerous soak mechanics. Me being a paladin, sometimes these meteors on Kill Jaden, for example, would overlap. So what do? Well, in order to free up some DPS, I stand in the overlap of the circles, pop Divine Shield, sit there like, what's up, Kill Jaden? How you doing? For the light. I soak 2 things. That way, 1 DPS through skilled play and a little bit of utility makes things easier to do for the whole group. There's less healing goes out. There's more DPS on the boss. Fantastic. Here's the thing. 2 players could do that. Also, it's not a guaranteed overlaps plan for that, where this utility is absolutely needed. It was a quirk of the fight that sometimes in certain fights things would overlap. Because they overlap and because I had the presence of mind to be like, oh, paladin, stand in bubble, make immune, soak things, done. There it is. Now, let's continue.
Utility hybrid choices, because we know that there's always a right outcome there. And we also understand that there's a lot of strength in the flexibility of the modern talent system to let players customize their talents for a particular encounter or for dungeons versus PvP, and we don't want to lose any of that.
That's good. You absolutely should, because the talents you would use in PvP are different from the talents you use in dungeons, which might be different from the talents you use in raids. Now, again, paladin, a lot of the stuff generally is about the same for me. I don't PvP. I'm sure there are people who PvP, and they're very good at it. I am terribad. But in general, I use Seraphim and Final Reckoning. Now, Sanctified Wrath is fun. If there was a fight where ads were always up, or like a council fight, I mean, Sanctified Wrath could be good, but also Final Reckoning, I hit them with Circle, so now for that next 8 seconds, they take more spender damage. The Divine Storm can be useful. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things. Let's continue.
So, John, UI?
Oh my God. Yes, I got this 30-inch monitor trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here, what's going on in chat. It has literally made my eyes go like this. So
you can position UI elements in some UI elements in the default UI. Like I tend to drag my my character's portrait and my enemy's portrait. I tend to drag them to the middle of the screen, right there. So I don't have to look up and glance at my health. But I will understand some base UI customization options are always going to be great, because like the appearance stuff, if you want it, hey, it's there. If you don't want it, hey, you can ignore it.
You're not alone in that. We've made a lot of incremental changes and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp. This is an overhaul. And so we're excited to really modernize the look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft. At the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them.
Yes!
But we want a bunch.
Add-ons are fantastic. Add-ons should be used. I like them. Some people are like, oh, add-ons make gameplay super easy or something. Like, I mean, I guess you could think that, but you're wrong.
Better default out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old alike.
And can I reduce elements, remove elements? If I want to explore the world and see the beauty of Azeroth.
Hey, that's good. I like that.
Specific elements, as much as possible, we want to let players choose what to show and what to hide so that they can control it themselves.
You mentioned professions. I have a critical question about this.
Go on.
Can I wear a shield hat?
Yeah, I knew it.
Our approach to professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on fantasy and identity as a crafter. And so, if you want to be a serious blacksmith,
I like that. That's a cool little mining transmog. I like it. Way to go, mining transmog.
if you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability to invest time and energy into that, become a master crafter, be able to make items that are in demand, interact with the community. One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system to have a bit more convenience than just spamming trade chat all day.
Yeah, I think that's good to be able to not spam trade chat all day. I like the work orders. I think that'll be interesting. We'll have to look into professions a little bit later to see exactly what's going on. But the fact that some characters, some players, will be able to customize themselves as they wish, yeah, for it, all for it. You want to add optional regions to make something more powerful? Great. What I really want is the ability to add tertiaries and a socket. Because if I get, let's say I get good, awesome mega sword, right? Two-handed sword of owning enemy. It's awesome. It's got haste and mastery, or haste and crit, or haste and burst. Might notice a theme here. But it's got the stats I want, right? I want the ability to be able to add a tertiary stat and a socket. Why? You let crafters make that stuff. Crafters then have more activity in the game. They make more money. The economy keeps flowing. Also, you're more invested in your character. Because now it's not just, I got the sword and I got lucky, it got a socket. It's, I got the sword, and now if I want to, I can put a socket on it, and I can put tertiaries on it. I can work for that, and then that sword is finished, and now it's, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to do the same thing, or they'll be like, okay, yeah, I put a leech and a socket in it. But it allows for incremental player power gain through the use of other players or yourself. Let's say, hypothetically, a master blacksmith, and you can be like, yeah, I can add a socket. Do. Or, you're an enchanter. Oh, I can enchant it. Or, I can do whatever. So, I want that ability.
But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list your mats, offer a commission, and a skilled blacksmith can come along and make you the weapon of your dreams.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know if it'll be the weapon of my dreams. That might be a little over egging the pudding, but I like the fact that there, more player interaction. Because again, at the end of the day, this is an MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. So we want people to be able to step into the roles. We want people to play together. Yeah, not bad. Good stuff.
I think we left out one thing though. You can be a Drakthir, go to Dragon Isles. Can I have a dragon?
What's the fantasy of dragons, if not soaring over the lands? And so we're really excited.
That's cool. That was a cool little cinematic, that roll. Yeah.
To introduce a feature that we're calling dragon riding. It's dynamic with, everything from momentum to dive bombs, the ability to, just sort of build that speed up and feel the world rushing past you in a way that should be much more exciting than traditional flight that we've made available in the past, but that's also available for players through a customizable dragon mount right from the start.
All right, customizable dragon mount. Yes, I'm a fan. The only thing I want to say, and this is maybe from a lore perspective, is that my griffin, right, or my sky gold, or my whatever, is generally an animal. A dragon in this context is a magical being of potentially immense power and awareness. So I don't want my dragon to just be like, oh, that's another mount. No, my dragon should be able to, perhaps I should be able to do tasks for my dragon. Because again, it's a dragon. It's not like, I wouldn't think like, okay, I'm gonna go ride, I don't know, Ysera, and be like, okay, yeah, I just click number 2, shift 1, hit, or shift 2, hit 1. There's my mount. It's Ysera. Go. That's why we ride drakes really instead of dragons. Drakes in this case are, they're not, I don't know what the difference is specifically, but they're not full-blown dragons. They're not creatures of immense magical power and intelligence and awareness. So I don't want my dragon to just be, oh, this is a mount. And don't get me wrong, it looks cool. The sweeping, going through, having the camera, it seemed like the camera accelerate and adding a movement effect, a vignette. I love that. Great. I want more of that. I also would like to see that at some point with limited to things added to other mounts. Let's say, for example, you are you're a warlock, right? And you got a fell something, little green fire effect, or how maybe paladin holy effect, maybe a mage frost little blue effect, something. Again, these are things to look forward to. I'm not flagging off dragon riding. I think it looks cool. I just have some concerns because, again, things are said, and obviously they're not promised. Nothing's promised, but I want to make sure that, have the best possible expansion that we can. And it's shaping up to, these are looking good. I just am curious to see how they will, this is how they're presented now. Obviously, they're work in progress. I want to see how I get to interact with it. And obviously, if I had an alpha or a beta key, I could do something with that, but I don't at the moment, and probably won't, because, hey, who am I? I'm Nim. Welcome.
So this is a skill you learn over time, right, to become an awesome dragon rider?
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And the dragon companion that you have is, of course, very thoroughly...
He did mention we'd have this new form of flight from the start. He did mention we'd have this new form of flight from the start. He did mention we'd have this new form of flight from the start. Thank you. That is a good move. Listen, Pathfinder, whatever, fine. I'll get the rep anyways, because I'm a completionist on a lot of things. But having flight from the start is important. Let the players fly. It's fine. They're going to do it anyways. Fine. Avoid the fight. Give it to the players. They'll be happy.
Customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts. This is not just a generic dragon that everyone has, but a drake that is yours. What do you want its scales to look like? Horns,
I like that gold plate armor. That was really cool.
Attachments, armor pieces, and more. Take your pick.
This is so cool.
So the Dragonflight expansion is going to see players leveling to 70, going to the all-new continent of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone for our Drakthir class, as well as a range of systems revamps, such as a new talent system, an overhaul and update to our UI, and an entirely fresh look at professions with more depth than ever before.
That's good, yeah.
So getting around the Dragon Isles is going to come in the form of dragon riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that you can fly, in a sense, from the start. And of course, as with any...
I don't like the caveat in a sense. That's where certain things you can mess around with things that limit player freedom and player fun. I'm sure that's a reason, and of course Ian has to speak very diplomatically because people are going to be like, "Oh, he said this," da, 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 and there might be bad faith interpretations or other things, or maybe something might get cut, and then then he has to take the full brunt of the community because people are like, "Ian lied" or whatever, rabble. So I understand why. It's just that's watch phrases like that tend to. When I see caveats, I'm like, ooh, I'm concerned. I'm a concerned one. So let's take a look here and continue.
Expansion, we have a new set of dungeons, a raid, and much more to come.
Yeah.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
In the future, yeah.
Website for more information, and keep an eye out for those opt-in signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us even more feedback to make it better.
You know what? Yeah, I hope I get into the beta. I did get to do the Shadowlands beta, which is cool. I would love to do the beta, but I like beta testing. I do submit back as I can.
We do have a deep dive that follows this, so please stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess.
All right, we're gonna skip Classic. That'll be another video all entirely. I'm not worried about Classic right now. I don't get me wrong. I love Wrath of the Lich King. Fantastic expansion, probably my favorite expansion. But let's continue on with the Waking Shores and Onaran Plains overview. There it is.
Hello, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Josh.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Gary.
Hey!
We're part of the teams that are building the first 2 zones that you'll encounter in the Dragon Isles, the Waking Shore and the Onaran Plains.
Look good. I like them. I'm
The
down.
first zone in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores.
Ooh.
It's wild, untamed land. It's waking up around you too.
I mean, that
And
looks
like you were
good. They
showing
picked really good shots.
The art team again has hit it out of the park.
You'll see like a lava mountain flowing in through the beach, giant proto-dragons swooping down, gobbling up members of your expedition.
We have such rife opportunities to show elemental.
Look at that. Look at that. It's like a mixture of Nagrand and Frostfire and everything. And yeah, I get Primal alive. This is, you know, Anduvelian, undiscovered territory. I like it. Yeah.
Rising up
Yeah.
because of the crazy magic that's flying around.
The one of the things I love is just how you get to the Dragon Isles, right? So you're gonna get on your boat in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and the first thing you do is sail between like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other. You can jump from one boat to the other and just start causing havoc on the other faction's boat.
For those who love
That's a cool idea. Very flavorful.
PvP, this is a great opportunity for war mode.
It's free for all out there. It's gonna be great. But it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach, so that if you're in that situation and you don't want to be in war mode anymore, you can just hop out right there.
I like that they did that because people are going to go in thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to be in war mode. And then cross server's going to come in, and then people are going to get. And they're like, oh, I can't. Why do I keep getting killed? It's like, well, turn war mode off, dude. It's easy. Just turn it off. But I want the bonus. Okay, well, then keep it on. But I don't want to die. Well, then turn it off. Like I've spent enough time on the general forums to know that people are going to complain about stuff. But I like that they referenced that specifically. Yeah, you can turn it off right there.
The Reliquary and the Explorers League are working together.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not the military, it's not the soldiers. This is the scientists, the settlers, exploring this.
I like that particular aspect because it's always usually a military expedition. Okay, we're taking a military expedition to Pandaria, a military expedition to Draenor, a military expedition to, you know, through BFA. Now this is where it's like, okay, guys, let's ratchet the tension down a little bit. We're doing scientists, surveyors, engineers, and settlers. Try to see if we can't figure out what's going on here before we get there and be like, all right, it's slaughter time. It's no. Well, let's ratchet down the tension. And I think that's kind of more accurate as to what WoW has become, because we spent the last few years in game being like, listen, I may not like you and you may not like me, but that is going to eat our entire world. Let's stop it. Like, yeah, we'll stop it. I don't like you, right? Exactly. You don't like me? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Just stop it. Right. You know, and having to work together so many times does build a certain level of understanding and maybe a attenuative trust and peace.
This new land. So it's a lot more optimistic tone.
One of my favorite things about the Waking Shores is the Red Dragonflight,
Ooh.
led by Queen Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder.
Yeah.
They have the mandate of nurturing and protecting all life, which means Horde and Alliance, Gorloks, trolls, everybody. So they take that duty seriously. When the Horde and the Alliance come to the Waking Shores, they want to be there to help guide the people through the new land. And
A lot like how Terran Zoo was like, you bring your war to our shores and don't know what effects you're going to have. We helped create more Shah through our action and our war. So I like the fact that Alex Strauss is like, no, oh, this is our homeland, you're in my house. Listen, behave.
welcome them. But they're not the only one in the Waking Shores.
We have the ancestral home of the Black Dragonflight there too, which has fallen on tough times since Deathwing's descent. And so Rathian's coming over to the Isles with us, and he's going to try and come to terms with the state of the Dragonflight, which is a few loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground. What can the future of the Dragonflight be if it's just Rathian? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the Jarden so
Whoa. Okay, that's a new. I didn't know they were in lore. I've never heard that name. But yeah, it is. What is going to happen to the Black Dragonflight? Because Rathian is, while very powerful and skilled and the literal son of the dragon aspect, he's just one dragon. He will die at some point. He's not going to be eternal.
much. They're half giants that wield the power of magma, and when the Waking Shores and the Dragon Isles went to slumber, they also slumbered. They're back now, and they are ready to raise chaos.
Yeah, they're massive. They're riding giant lava mammoths parading around.
Lava mammoth?
Space.
And
Can
they
I get
were
that as a
the
mount?
enemies of the Dragonflight
Please?
for so long. They fought against the Red Dragonflight, hunted dragons down, and they're really taking this opportunity to rise up. As the Red Dragonflight have the mandate of nurturing life, they don't want to just stomp out the Jarden completely, but they want to make sure that they don't have the power to affect those around them negatively, to make sure they don't go on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
So the Red
So those are
Dragonflight's
awesome
maintaining
things
balance.
Waking
All right,
Shore, but
got it.
Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true. Ducks.
Oh,
Those webbed feet hooligans in our game. We cracked the technology. We've got
I love it. I love it. They're cute. They're adorable. No notes. Love it. Love it. A duck mount would be cool. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, but that's cool. Look at this. Let's get the ducks and the tortolans together, and now you can have cool stuff.
Figure it out. They can fly.
You should be proud. Thank you.
Ducks.
It's gonna be awesome.
The Onaran Plains come right after the Waking Shores. It's so breathtaking at first glance.
The Onaran plains are big, wide open plains. And the player is going to be constricted a little bit, and then you see this big contrast of a zone. We don't always
Whoa.
get that opportunity, that cinematic moment where the player can have a framed view when they see this area.
Yeah, I'm
Come
down.
out and you got that postcard shot
love
of the
that.
plains, and then you see this giant fire proto dragon breathing fire, and a herd of Centaur like harpoon down the proto dragon and crash into the ground. And the first thing you
Is
can
that something
do
we
is go
see?
help them kill the proto dragon. Like how cool is that?
Okay. Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
not-
Onara and
I more being able to affect the world even in a temporary measure gives players more investment, more immersion. So, like I said, they talk about that postcard shot, like walk up, see the thing. Oh, this is the whole thing. Oh, there's a quest over there. Okay, they're shooting things down. You know, we gotta help keep this. They may be holding it down. Like, oh, we gotta kill the dragon, and then we,
is
Yeah.
the wild god of the wind. And she's
Whoa.
appeared before as like this big spirit eagle. She's the one who guided the Centaur
Is that
to the
Tara?
Dragon Isles many, many years ago. She blessed them, took their caravan.
Is that
across,
Anshi?
and
I think it's
showed them
Anshi.
The plains.
Maybe.
Fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the Centaur.
The Centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that, back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually, they realized that we're strong, you're strong. Maybe we should stop decimating each other's people. We'll make peace. We'll make an agreement. You guys hang out in the groves, and the Centaur will hang out in the plains. But now, the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years. And the Centaur have come so far since then. And they've been here, and they've been existing and developing their culture. They all came over as one clan, led by the mighty Maruk and Tira, and they founded a new life here.
okay.
So if you want
I mean, I like the fact that I like the fact that they're making it, an anthropological argument of development. That hey, we were originally one class, one clan, and then through schisms and interesting conflicts, we have branched into different clans. That's a very rich possibility for story. In addition to really any other thing, you could have quest, item, or lore. Which
to get across, you have to follow their rules and their traditions. You have to earn their trust. You are the first outsiders to come in generations upon generations. The Centaurs
written
might
memory.
rule the open plains, but the green dragons make their home in the groves. And those groves are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy groves, high fantasy. We want to do lots of things with the open plain, and we want to be creative with them. But we're restraining ourselves by letting the zone sing, letting the horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in Vanilla WoW.
So I like the fact that they're trying to actively use the art assets as a storytelling medium. So let's rewind the clock back to Wrath of the Lich King, right? So you could get cold weather flying, I believe at level 77. You could afford it. And you couldn't get very far into the storm peaks without flying. The art the actual environment, the designed environment, the art assets acted as a barrier. And once you gain the ability for cold weather flying, boom, you could then uncover these whole peaks and valleys, extra quest lines and things like that. And eventually you would, the storm peaks and get to Ice Crown and whatever. But I think that's a good thing. Letting the art, letting the environment shape the story more, because even though this is a fantasy world, it still has certain rules, and you don't want to break those certain rules unless you have to. And how would you break a rule? Like, well, there's a Titan. Okay, well, the Titan can do some magic stuff, and that's fine. But if you keep breaking the rules, you end up with this Deus Ex Machina effect, where it's like, well, nothing's really matters because Entity X is going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore, and then your players don't get invested in your story. One of the reasons why too much retroactive correction or too many retcons can be a problem.
Definitely not. The zones are so big and you can see so far, especially in Onaran Plains. So we talked to the engineers and we actually increased that distance.
It spurs you on to want to adventure and look through the zone and explore everything.
The interesting thing for me is we have all these conflicts with the Dragonflights. There's missing dragons, there's battles, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing.
Good, I'm glad that's not all we're doing, but that does sound like a lot. I mean, we have the jar something, we have to work with the Centaurs, we have to integrate ourselves with dragons, make sure that hey, like, we're a friend, like you. Listen, Alexstrasza, Kalagos, they like us. They like us. Chromie, he's cool. I need more Chromie.
There's so much
Chromie's my favorite dragon.
Activities for people.
Chromie.
And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
We're just really excited to tell a story that's grounded in Azeroth and exploration. There's so much more to talk about. But now, we're going
I also like that you mentioned grounded in Azeroth, because now you get to explore the world that we started on. And again, it's not, while there might be ties to a cosmic level threat or something, it's we're existing as heroes in an expedition in Azeroth. Odds are we're probably going to protect scientists and surveys, engineers, settlers, things like that, which makes sense because you would want, like, hey, it's an unknown land, but we're not trying to send a full military force. Let's send a couple of heroes. They'll probably be able to handle it. After all, they did just kill the personification of death. Unless what happened in Shadowlands isn't really known by the rulers, but that wouldn't make any sense because all the rulers are there at the Arbiter when Sylvanas is judged. So who's going to lead Undead?
We're going to have some folks talking about the next two zones that players are going to experience in the Dragon Isles.
Azurspan and Faldrassus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate.
I'm Christy.
I'm Kate.
I'm Sean. We're going to talk today about Faldrassus and the Azure Span. So Azure Span is going to be the third zone that players venture through.
Like it.
It's one of our biggest zones that we've done in the Dragonflight, maybe even to date.
We knew it was going to be like the largest visual elevation change, and it really started with this great concept art.
Even bigger than the Storm Peaks.
Taking a look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly Hills.
I called it earlier in the video. I saw it. I was like, that reminds me of Grizzly Hills.
And we really wanted to take that, but wowify it more. And I don't know if you've ever been up to the Bay Area, but in the morning, that coastal fog comes in and dips down into the redwoods, and that sun shines through. That's really what we wanted to encapsulate with this forest.
Yeah.
Not only we have redwoods.
I mean, I see the visual effects right. We see the visual effects right there. It looks good.
We've got all different types of trees. Eventually, it'll break open into this wide open tundra that's just golden and red, and you'll reach up to another level of elevation where you get to see the snow. The majority of the zone is covered in snow and ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers as far as the eye can see.
Would be cool to see a hot spot.
And Sean, I know in the forest, we can expect our first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there called the Gnolls. These Gnolls are all throughout the forest and Azure Span.
I mean, Gnolls have been in the game forever. I mean, West.
And they've made this their home. Some Gnolls with strange magic that we're going to find out what exactly that's about. Snow Gnolls, or as I call them, the Snolls.
All right, I like it.
In the winter area, and then some regular Gnolls that are just...
Wait, Hogger! Let's do a Hogger tie-in or something. I don't know. Like, I obviously they may not do that, but yeah, very animated thing, very great animations, nice models. And hopefully we don't have to fight all of them. Because before, the Gnolls were just basically like, these are like Murlocs, and these are like, they're just basically bandits that we have to stop. Just instead of being Defias, they're hairy dog hyenas.
It's going to be around the forest area. So then we go into the big open tundra where we meet our second group, the Tuskar.
Oh, the Tuskar are back! I love the Tuskar!
Adorable. I absolutely love the Tuskar.
I love the Tuskar.
Honestly, all my downtime's probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since we've seen them. We remember the Tuskar from Wrath of the Lich.
Yeah, we did.
We're
Yeah.
also getting a nice, cool up-res for their models. along with expanding their culture. So there are going to be male Tuskar, female Tuskar kids. So we're going to...
Yes! Oh, I love the Tuskar. That was cool. Little fishing tribes and everything. Yeah. Let's the Klaku fishing derby. I never won it.
Fight alongside them, which includes help from a certain group of dragons, the blue dragons.
Hey!
We're going to follow the story of Caligos.
Okay, wow, look at Caligos. Glow up. That's a glow up, Caligos. I see you.
Our blue dragon buddy from the Kirin Tor, and he's going to be adventuring into Sindragos' archives. It's a giant zone. There's a lot of surprises. When we're done there, we head over to Aldrazes.
Eldraz.
It's really incredible because you will be going through some of the previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins for the dragon buildings. But when you get to Thaldrazes, everything is perfectly intact. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It is the seat of power for all 5 Dragonflights.
All right, I like a capital city or a capital zone. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of seeing like I said, I like ruins, but I also like seeing current stuff. So yeah.
And home of the dragons. It feels that way with the huge vertical mountains. We've got these great cave systems where you may end up finding little dragon hordes.
My favorite Dragonflight right now.
I like that. Put that there. Little dragon hordes. So perhaps there's going to be some level of resources that can be gained, gold, other things. I also like general trend, and I believe it started in Mists of Pandaria, which is trash items. They're gray items that sell for a lot of gold. I like that. You find them out in the world. Maybe they give you a little experience as you're leveling, hunting treasures. It's fine. Perfect. More of that.
Now is the bronze. They've got a really cool area in Thaldrazes, and their magic is time.
Yes.
So many cool story hooks that we could dig into there. There's so many cool gameplay options.
Yes, there is.
It's a little bit of an adventure for players. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I love the bronze dragonflight. It's my favorite dragonflight. I have the stuffed bronze whelpling somewhere around here. Yes, I love the bronze dragonflight.
I can't wait. We really wanted it to feel like their old stomping grounds. One of the really cool features is going to be the main city and player hub for this expansion, Valdraken. It is a culmination of all of the dragon's efforts to put together what a city would look like. So we ended up having a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you see that the blue dragonflight is hosting a public library.
Oh.
And the red and green dragonflights both have their own separate gardens. We're also
Yeah, okay, so that's thematically appropriate because obviously the blue dragonflight is going to focus with magic and studying. Your red and green nature and life, respectively.
have some convenient services for players, including an auction house in the city.
Yes, that is a good thing. Man, look, I'm not hating on anybody who has the Bronto mount. Good on you. Enjoy it. And I'm not hating on engineer-only auctions, except that I am, because please let us just have an auction house. I understand that certain people have the Bronto mount, and that's great, and there's usually up, and there are people in Oribos who are heroes that are like, I'm just going to sit here on the mount and just whatever, AFK, and let people do whatever they want. And it's just like, yes, thank you.
Which will be really nice if you're looking for more exotic wares. The thing that really sold me on Thaldrazes was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. Wow. And this is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological
Very
platform.
Greek.
Tierhold has these awesome aqueducts that actually come out from the structure all the way to the city across the valley. And in the cinematic, there's just this amazing shot where you see Alexstrasza swoop under one of them.
Yeah, that was
of water
really cool.
Resting across her wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alexstrasza moment. What an incredible place, and filled with...
There is a theory in game design that if something cool happens, you absolutely need to let the player do it.
So much history.
Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And
yeah, Galakrond!
He built this facility. And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago, and they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Flights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions.
So one thing I want to mention about Galakrond is you can actually see Galakrond's fall in, I'm thinking in Dragonblight, the big skeleton. Galakrond was a huge, like, the bully of the block, essentially, at the time. And the dragon aspects were still young dragons, and had they not been able to beat him, Galakrond would have eaten basically every one of them, and the world would have been a much darker place. Granted, we wouldn't have had the corruption of Deathwing, but we also wouldn't have had the protections of the Dragon Act. So, and their guidance, reverence, and chapter. So, the world would be that would be a good, I don't know, dungeon raid idea. I think is what happens, if the through Bronze Dragonflight. What if the dragon aspects didn't exist? Because Galakron ate them. That's what he did. He was like, oh, nom 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 nom.
Betrayals, aspects have died. And these are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together.
As we were designing the
Stone
zone
Boy,
and the city
Stone Man.
itself, we're trying to figure out, how do we tell those stories at the same time as making sure that this is a really convenient place for players to go and, go shopping, as they tend to do. So much adventuring happening on the Dragon Isles.
It's so cool.
As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
So vertical, and I'm just excited to dive off the tops of towers and swoop under things.
It's actually one of the things that we're about to learn about next.
Hey, nice. Dracthyr evoking and dragon riding.
Hi, I'm Jake.
I'm Andy.
I'm Kali.
And I'm Graham. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Dracthyr Evoker, our new race and class coming in Dragonflight.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our exciting expression into the exploration of the Dragon Isles.
We knew with the dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alex Straza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake. Okay. I know.
Fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Dracthyr, created by Neltharion.
I still like
and
Dracthyr.
like our other hero classes, you get to choose if you want to start on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
So let's talk a little bit about
Okay.
the Evoker, the class they can be. What's unique about it is because the Dracthyr are created by an aspect, they have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 Dragonflights. So Evokers can take advantage of red magic and blue magic and bronze magic.
And to show that,
I am a huge fan of time magic. I wanted the mages to get a healing class that was based around time magic. I've mentioned this on stream, I've mentioned this in videos. It would be a really cool idea to have a mage healing class, healing spec as time magic. I want that. It's probably not going to happen, but the fact time magic, again, Bronze Dragonflight, favorite dragon.
we created a visual, what we call a prismatic effect. This prismatic effect is basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called Pyre, so when you shoot it out of your mouth, it twirls in the air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell before landing on your enemies.
That's really cool how they did that.
I'll take that one.
That's really cool.
Across that they use all 5 was really important to us, but we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy. So their damage dealer specialization, their first of 2, Devastation, mostly focuses on
I like
red
that.
and blue magic.
Evoker,
Red being very
Devastation.
fast and explosive, burning everything with Pyre, whereas blue is more focused and overwhelming. You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth to
Yeah.
disintegrate
I love
one
that.
single enemy in front of you.
There's a healer spec called Preservation. The
Okay,
healer
so
spec
Devastation,
focuses
Preservation.
on
Got it.
your green and your bronze magic. So your green is going to be evocative of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells.
Makes sense.
And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to heal
Points for the
really
Doctor Who
fast.
reference.
So in addition to the visuals and the animation, which all make you feel very powerful, we really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you do it, you might do more damage or hit.
Oh, that's gonna create some meta things, especially because let's hypothetically say that you're doing a Mythic Plus dungeon, right? You have a tank. That tank is gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna pull these things up. You guys start empowering your spells, and then what you can do is you can launch out with this really cool, initial shotgun blast of damage. Basically, they pull them in range, AOE, boom. So that could be a lot of fun. I'm interested to see how that'll math out. But the ability to empower your spells by pressing them down and holding them, essentially charging them. Yeah, okay. I like that. That's good.
Hit more targets depending on the spell, but it gives you this really physical connection and control that's new for World of Warcraft, and I think is feeling really, really good.
Yeah, it's new and it's a good idea. That is a great idea.
You feel physical.
physical when you're casting your spells.
You can actually fly around the battlefield and cast while you're flying.
Raining fire and death from above. It's
Woo! I still love that.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we
Sure.
talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
These
fire?
customizations.
Oh my goodness.
But no, they're really.
Look, I'm excited for the fun. Let them play, have fun. It's fine. Also, this is a really cool studio. I like that studio a lot. But yeah, no, puns are fun. You're doing game stuff, geek out, be nerdy. Okay.
Really,
they're awesome.
Because you have both your draconic form and your humanoid form, and
Yeah.
the customization options for both of them are amazing.
They're very
Yeah, no, more customization.
Just tell me
tell us about the color. You can do a lot of matching. So your visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
That makes sense, and I'm glad that they thought that through, as opposed to having like, oh, we have 15 different sets of customization and doing it. Listen, I'm not a game, right? I'm an engineer during the day. I understand some things about certain systems, but I'm not a game dev, so I won't say, oh, it was super easy to do, just do this. But I like that they made the idea of, oh, you want to be a bronze dragon? Okay, great. You got bronze scales in your human form, and in your dragon form, you got bronze scales. Yeah, this makes sense. You wouldn't go from, generally wouldn't make any sense to go from red to green. Or red to bronze.
But my super favorite part of customization for the visage form, hair.
Yeah.
Because I can actually do this in game.
Yeah.
The check is here.
We finally did it.
Nice.
As players,
Okay, I
make
got
their
little
way to
gradients
each of the
there.
areas of the Dragon Isles, they'll partner up with the Dragonflights to move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying, because flight has a very specific meaning.
Okay, yeah, flying does have a very specific. And as long as I can move through the air, that's a different story. I want the ability to eventually be able to freely fly on my dragon. Will I get that probably through a Pathfinder? Sounds like it, because they keep using these qualifying phrases. So I'm going to dampen my expectations a little bit, but it does, as long as it's a useful thing, I probably won't notice. Here's the thing. When I got my flight whistle, the Flight Master's whistle, I hardly noticed that I couldn't fly for a while, because I could just go to a flight point, and now I can go where I want to go.
For World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
And as the players are honing their dragon riding skills, they're going to get to see all new animations that go along with the different look and feel.
That's good.
Drakes.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle Drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add that sense of physics, weight, and gravity.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. The fact that because this also leads to new challenges, new abilities, new things that you could do. Like, oh, you flew, you were able to keep a momentum up, kind of like how the Darkwing Fair has that flame wing game, except now you can do it with dragon riding, maybe. It would be a cool idea.
You were mentioning, we knew it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects. It was going to take the engineering team, who we rely on heavily, and that combined with some new animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air in ways that you haven't before. And the icing on the cake is going to be some really cool effects that we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start hitting, maximum velocity, you're going to see contrails coming off the edges of the wings.
Nice.
And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some screen effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum velocity, which really adds to the overall kind of immersion and sense of reality.
Yeah,
As
it
players
pulls
make
you
their way
in.
through the Dragon Isles, they'll discover new cosmetic options to fine-tune their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances.
Yes!
Things like snoots, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more.
So again, the Garrison had a cool idea where you could build statues, provided you did certain types of content. This could be an expansion of that. Okay, so your KSM, perhaps, in addition to giving a mount, will allow you to add a specific, perhaps, banner or armor to your dragon. That's cool. Or, you did the story, or you killed the raid, or you did the quest line, or whatever. But that's a great thing. More customization allows players to express themselves as they want and is ultimately positive.
Can I have spikes?
Definitely.
Okay.
We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights and bring on
Ooh.
more difficult challenges.
I was right.
We just have so many new gorgeous options to choose from, and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but I can't wait to actually get in the game, play it with you guys.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to fly around Dragon Isles. It's gonna be great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
This is a good thing. Talent revamp. Yes. HUD user interface and talent.
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Laura. We are very excited to share you're finally revamping the WoW HUD UI.
And it is also time for a major revamp to talents and specializations.
Yes.
I have a big question for the group. How long do you think it took for us to finally revamp the WoW HUD?
My guess is like 15 years.
Oh, it's Olinka.
Close. 18 years.
18
years.
18, damn.
Technology has changed a lot since we made the UI back in 2004. Now you have like bigger monitors, and we have better dev tools to work with.
Absolutely.
It makes sense to have the revamp right
Man,
now.
look at how cool some of those art
Look at the game
gradients
today.
are.
The art evolved beautifully over the years. And if you look at the HUD looks like it got frozen time.
A little
So
bit,
when we
yeah.
approached this,
Why people
we wanted
use
to
like LV.
create a layout experience that players could customize, move things around, adjust it to fit their needs.
Murloc in the background.
They do a lot for player customization.
The downside is that not everybody uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use them, that they become a part of the base UI.
Yeah, and we are
Sure.
working very closely with our user research team.
Look, I'm a fan of using base UI in general just because it's one less thing that could break or one less thing that you have to. But I understand why in certain cases people want to use LVUI, and I had a tank friend for a while use Domino and just a whole bunch of them.
To make sure we are hitting the goals that our player needs.
It allowed us to add new functionality, to improve accessibility in a lot of areas, and on top of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so the art update, it's a big part of this project. The
Yes.
UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years.
Well, yeah.
With that in mind, we want to respect the players who really like the current UI, but do a modern take to it, removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay.
Okay.
So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and the health bar is also much bigger. If you look at the
I like the new health bar. I like the new health bar, and I do like the new mini. It looks cleaner, and the portrait is very sleek is a word I'm gonna use.
The action bars and the bottom menus, they have less head frames, and it can really open up your gameplay, so you don't have a lot of your UI in front of you. And
Yeah.
of course, we want to find iconic pieces from the current HUD, but we want to bring it back.
I'm curious how they're
in a
gonna do
nice
XP
way.
bars.
So we for sure updating the Griffins. They look so nice now. And the Horde, don't worry, we got you.
Oh, the Wind
We
Riders.
have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
We are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen. So
Various is an interesting thing because it is different than all HUD. But I'm sure it'll be enough for me. I'm sure I won't. I guess there might be some people there might be one or two players who are like, why can't I move thing? Well, in that case, probably do LVUI or something like that. But for the base UI to have much more functionality is a good thing.
I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the bottom and kind of put them more in the center by my character, those
It's a
are
good
all
idea.
things that I'll be
What I
able
did
to
with
do.
used to do that with weak orders.
And each of those different components will have various sets of options that you'll be able to work with. They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also, it'll remember which spec you're in.
Oh,
so if you're
good
someone
stuff.
who jumps around a lot, as you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for that spec.
That's a good
It's an
idea.
ongoing project. We're gonna keep working on it. So we really want to hear back from you.
Let's talk about
Project that
talent.
We're all excited about that we've been collaborating a lot on is something that's pretty UI intensive, and that's the talent system.
Yes.
It's been a long time, like you said before, and we really started with how can we have players have more choice over what their character has? As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order. Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options. And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. But it's actually two trees.
Yeah,
We have
I like to.
class tree that offer different class utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing your role.
I really, 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 really like that. That they decided to separate utility and throughput. That is an amazingly player-friendly choice. Because now, you don't have to worry so much about convenience and quality of life and things to make encounters easier or getting around the world better or sustainability versus damage or healing output or yes, mitigation could be throughput. That amazing. I love that. Yes. Yes.
Whether that's damage, tank, or healing.
Can I just jump in and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come back. There's a big nostalgia hit for me.
As we said, we have these 2 trees because we feel like picking a specialization is a really important part of your World of Warcraft character now.
Well, yeah, of course it's a really big part. Listen, in some classes, pure DPS, it may be, I don't know, like it may be different. Like if you're a mage, right? For example, you got Fire, Frost, Arcane, right? Fire, Frost, Arcane. Like, okay, well this is Fireball versus Ice Bolt versus Arcane Explosion or something. I don't play an Arcane, never played an Arcane Mage. Forgive me. But whereas, like, let's again go back to Paladin, right? As a Ret, I use 2-handed sword. As a Prot, I use a sword and a shield. As a Holy, I tend to use a mace and a shield, or a sword and a shield, or something like that. But it's all with different intent. And picking a spec means that's my role, and I'm going to do a lot of different things for that. So I think it's a big idea. I think he's right, because this is a big part of your identity as a player and a character. Is I play this.
We want to make sure that when you choose that, it kind of affects the tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off
nice.
in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to that spec or role, or it could be something from elsewhere in the class.
There's a lot of things that we can do here, and part of that is encouraging players to perhaps make combinations that they've never really been able to see in the game before. This is an opportunity to put a lot more art and fantasy in the actual talent UI itself.
All right.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not at the base UI.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. We want you to be able to make a lot of changes at a lot of times and not necessarily have to commit. The power really is coming back to the player. It's not...
This button right here that says reset all talents, that needs to be in the game. That just needs to be in the game for free at any time you are not in locked content. So, for example, probably like your Mythic Plus, right? That needs to be there, because while inscriptionists will probably not gain the ability to make a tome, the thing is that is the most player friendly thing. I can reset my talents. Boom. Okay, cool. I can spec right away. I can save builds. That's what we want. We want to see.
It's something we want people to feel locked into, and so one of the things that we'll be preserving is the ability to change these talents at the same kind of frequency that you do now.
Yeah,
okay,
the
so
old school
Holmes.
players, when you see trees this time, just think, yeah, I'll go from my raid night to my arena match and figure out what I think is the best for both of those.
And that's a process we want to make really fluid.
That's going to be mathed
We're
out.
building a save load.
Ooh, nice.
Let you create your build, name it, save it, and then load it up very quickly and freely.
Talents were really about the breadth of options. We've made all these different cool things over the years, but when are they at their coolest? It's when players can hold the building blocks of what can make up their class, their spec, and put them together in a way that works for them.
So these are really cool features that we've been working long and hard on, and we're very excited about them. And it's just an early preview of the things we've been doing.
So while that's a work in progress, I think it's a good thing. I like the fact, again, they separated utility from throughput. That is so good, because I remember in Legion, right, my very first Legion legendary was Gaze of Justice. Gaze of Justice was a powerful helmet, sure, but its ability was, if I use Hammer of Justice on a target above 75% health, cooldown is reduced by 70%. The other Paladin got Spender Cloak, where if you use a spender, the next spender, if used within 4 seconds, does 25% more damage. Who do you think was happy? It wasn't me.
We can't wait to see the reaction that you have to them, and please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on them. And next up, we're going to talk about professions in Dragonflight.
All right, let's see what's going on with profession. Profession revamp. Absolutely needed. 100% needed.
Hi, I'm Joanna.
And I'm Eric, and we're going to talk about our plans for professions in Dragonflight.
It's also a cool Covenant
Profession's
shirt.
been a staple of World
Not gonna lie.
Warcraft forever, and they've seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them part of your identity as a player, if that's what you want.
We really want to make sure that professions feel fun and relevant across all levels of gameplay.
That brings us to our first update, something that we're calling crafting orders.
Okay.
If you want to have something crafted for you,
Let's pause that right there. So it looks like while I'm not a fan of meters per se, that's interesting stuff there. Resourcefulness is 9%, inspiration 4%. You can add reagents to add optional difficulties. I want to avoid random number. I want to avoid percentage failure option. So let's hypothetically say that I have to gain let's see, this looks like 5 black dragon whatever and some ore and some whatever here. All right, so that's what I need. And then I add an optional reagent and I should be able to craft it. Anything above that with resourcefulness or inspiration or whatever that is, whatever these buffs are, should be a bonus on top and should be able to be stacked through either repeated failures or buffs or both until I am guaranteed to make said item that I actually want. Because I don't, let's say I don't just want I want to make, when I spend my resources, I want to make the most powerful thing possible for my resources. I don't want it on a spectrum. I want to make, if I'm going to make a level 100 sword of kick butt, that's what I want. I don't want a level 98 sword of kick butt. Because now, the item I made is less valuable, but it still took the same amount of resources. So, there's something there.
for you, but you don't have the skill or the right profession to do it for yourself, you can have it crafted through a crafting order. You can basically browse any of the recipes that can be crafted, pick the one you want for yourself, and then you include some or all of the reagents needed for the recipe,
Okay.
including ones that only you can get your hands on. You can find someone in person to do it right in front of you for you, or you can also go to an NPC and using an auction house-like interface, send the order out. If you're doing this, you can pick, do you want to send the order to anyone, sort of a public order, or do you want to only send it to your guild, or to a specific other player? Maybe it's a friend who you know will be able to.
I wonder what this is going to do for the selling of materials. So being able to make things on demand means that probably instead of having to build a bunch of stuff and then spam sell it on auction house, means that mats are probably going to be more expensive this particular expansion. Because now instead of having to gather and gather and gather and then flood the market so people can buy those and then flood the market again, everything is made bespokely or one-off.
Craft the item really well for you.
If you are really dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
One of the coolest things about this is
That's an interesting thought. I wonder if there's a level of experience or leveling up that has to happen. Because if you're really dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do. Because that implies to me that there's something extra. We'll find out.
the item you had crafted can also be soul-bound. In the past, you could only get your hands on crafted soul-bound items by having that profession yourself. Now anyone can have them crafted for them, which is really neat and really expands.
Well, usually you just do like bind when equip.
Powerful because everyone can have them crafted through the crafting order system.
This is also really cool because it means as a crafter, you can start building your client
Yeah,
base.
bind when
They'll come
equip.
Back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it, or you always throw in a little something extra. You're also going to be leveling up your profession. It's going to be really great.
So the first
Okay, so they did mention a level.
You're going to notice a lot of different things, but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents.
Okay.
Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better. For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level. If it's, for instance, a potion, that might mean a more powerful effect at a higher quality.
And we're doing a lot of new things.
That is where we could have some problem. Because unless I can guarantee the ability for quality, then I'm not performing at the level I want. So for example, let's say I'm getting ready to raid, right? Gonna go raid boss pool. All right, we're gonna do a potion for damage phase, and I want my damage potion to be the damage potion on every pull. I don't want it to be, oh, okay, well, this pull, it's, 500 strength, and next pull, it's 1,000. I don't know if it'll be that disparate, but I want a consistency. Now, if I have to build up through crafting to get to that consistency, okay, fine. But once I'm there, I'm there. That's the point that I'm getting at. I don't want it to be like, oh, okay, I made 10,000 strength potions and now I'm back down to 500. That's not a player-friendly system.
In the UI, we've put a lot of work into it to make sure that the professions feel really special and unique.
And another thing you might notice in the crafting UI that's new is the introduction of stats specifically to your professions, both crafting and gathering. And this is another sort of major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to craft items at a higher quality is through crafting specializations. We've had specializations in the past.
Yeah, I would
original World of Warcraft,
Gnomish armor or Gnomish engineering.
You go out and earn specialization points in a whole bunch of different ways. So maybe you find an old book on a bookshelf in a ruin somewhere, or a hermit in a cave who can teach you a little bit about your profession. So let's say you're a blacksmith.
That's not terrible.
You might
Good
decide
idea.
that first
Little
you
exploration.
want to be an armorsmith. And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means that if you specialize one way, other people in your guild may specialize in a completely different path. So this means that your guild could have several top blacksmiths, and everybody is providing something unique and valuable.
Yeah, I'm
really cool.
I'm for this in theory. I need to see it in practice because, again, it's like when I see meters, I get flashbacks to Lost Ark and Honing, and I'm like, just.
That reminds me of another update. We're actually adding crafting tables to all the different crafting professions. We're going to take those and we're going to put them all in the main city of Valdrakken.
Nice.
And, you're going to go in there and you're going to get to see all the different players crafting their items at their cool crafting tables.
Yeah, it means you're going to walk into the city and you're going to see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're going to see all these blacksmiths over by the forge. There will be other players filling orders or grabbing orders. It's going to be a whole new crafting area that's going to make you feel really part of the world.
It just seems like a much more lively area than it has in the past.
What I'm most excited about, though, is the gear. We're introducing new types of gear
Ooh.
for the profession, and when you go...
Okay, that looks really cool. As like, if you were a jeweler, yeah, okay, that's good. That's good stuff. Yes.
To say mine and node, you're actually going to just switch into that gear. It's going to be really great.
You're not going to have to carry that stuff around in your backpack anymore. There's actually going to be dedicated slots for each of your pieces of gear. But
all right,
I'm a numbers guy. I love progressing. All pieces of profession gear will have those special stats that we mentioned before on them. And as you get your hands on better versions of the gear, it's really going to help you get better at your profession.
I can't wait.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dragonflight Deep Dive.
You've heard a lot about the content and changes coming in Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store for you in the coming months.
Until then, we'll see you in Azeroth.
All right, so that was the Dragonflight Deep Dive. Now, I paused a lot to interject my opinion and my experience and things that I think are good, and you may or may not like that. That's fine. You watched this far, odds are you liked it or you're a friend of mine, so for that, thank you. So, ultimately, I'm excited about the reveal. I need to see what this is going to be in practice, because you can tell me a great story, but when I get to play a great story, that's when it's ultimately successful. I'm cautiously optimistic, let's put it that way, because obviously I think with Shadowlands numbers dropping, with BFA numbers dropping from Legion, people are the Blizzard's like, we really need to get back. We need to get back to our player base. So I think that's a good thing. And I think the devs, obviously everybody who spoke and all the people who work behind the scenes, have done an amazing job so far on various things. As always, the art team stands out. Art team, no notes, you're fantastic. Go get a coffee. You have earned a break. You do great work. But anyways, tell me what you guys thought of this below. Tell me if you thought I missed something, or maybe I was too harsh or too lenient. And of course, if you enjoy what I do, or you like what the channel does in general, go on and hit subscribe, and you can stay up to date with everything the channel does. Notification bell in there. I accidentally stepped on my own words, but I have been talking for an hour and a half. Also, I should plug this more often. I stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do some MMO stuff. We do some educational stuff. Sometimes we'll play some different games as well. Keep that in mind, and that's at twitch.tv/Nimicry. Again, twitch.tv/Nimicry. If you are social media inclined, you can follow me on Twitter at Nimicry. And of course, I'll answer questions there. It's good for memes and sharing things back and snappy comebacks. If you want a longer type conversation, there's a link to my Discord down below. And finally, for those who wish to go truly above and beyond the Call of Duty, for those who wish to park at rank 1, there is Patreon. Patreon is a service that helps small creators like myself monetize videos and ultimately create more things. If you want to support me in probably the best way I can think of outside of watching the videos, it's patreon.com/Nimicry. Patrons get a couple of benefits depending on the tier. You can always, again, find that at patreon.com/Nimicry. This was actually a really fun video to make. I'm glad to see things. Hopefully the devs continue to be more communicative and take player feedback, because this could be a great expansion. With that being said, my name was Nim, and may the mount you're farming drop on the first kill.